I cannot believe that some of these Nintendo Switch games ended up where they are. Kotaku just released an article talking about the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games, and I wanted to talk to you about these games, what I think about it, and everything surrounding it. So let's go ahead, start with number 10, work our way to number 1, and see how this list is stacked up. Before we get into actually talking about the top 10, I will say this list was actually pretty interesting. It has 10 games on it, obviously, but it also talks about the release date and how many copies have sold. And some of these really shocked me, so let's go ahead and talk about number 10. Number 10 ended up being a Ring Fit Adventure, which was kind of a shock to me, but when I thought about it, I thought about the Wii Fit and how that thing sold a ton, so I'm kind of not surprised here. Ring Fit Adventure released about 2 years ago, October 18th of 2019, and has sold 12.21 million copies, which is kind of crazy to think about that Ring Fit Adventure sold 12 million copies by itself, because if you think back, the Wii U, the system itself, only sold about 13 million copies. I will say I didn't ever buy Ring Fit Adventure, and it's one of those games that I'll probably stumble upon later on in life, but I feel like this is one of those awesome adventure games that had fitness involved, and I feel like that kind of drove the sales to this game, and apparently it's a ton of fun. The next game was actually Splatoon 2, and this one really kind of surprised me and shocked me. I figured this probably should have sold more, but for some reason it didn't. This released July 21st of 2017, so this game's been out about 4 years now, and it has 12.68 million copies sold. I am a big fan of Splatoon, so when I saw this on the list, Splatoon 2 had to make it, obviously, but I didn't expect it to be number 9 on this list. I thought it would be probably farther up the list. However, I feel like this is an awesome game, and if you don't have it, you definitely should pick it up. The next game on this list, and at number 8, is Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, and it really kind of surprised me where this landed on this list. Now, this released November 16th of 2018 and has sold 13.83 million copies. And this is a remake of Gold with a weird spin to it. And that was that you could see the Pokemon on the map, you could avoid them, and you even had kind of this Pokemon Go-like way to catch them. So I really did enjoy this game, but I'm kind of shocked that it's above Splatoon 2, to be honest. Number 7 is Super Mario Party, and I love that this is on this list. First off, it released in October 5th of 2018 and has 16.48 million copies. I love to see this on the list because the last Super Mario Party, which was Super Mario Party 10 on the Wii U, was absolutely hated. Nintendo tried to do something new, and really, no one really enjoyed it. Because we were more stuck together as a team instead of competing against each other, and I feel like Nintendo took note of that and went back to the old Mario Party games, and I'm so glad they did this because Super Mario Party is a ton of fun. Number 6 came at a huge shock to me, and that is Super Mario Odyssey. Probably one of the top 3 games on the system, at least top 5. I'm really shocked to see this at number 6. It released October 27th of 2017, and it has 21.95 million copies sold. This was a return of Mario to the Switch, and honestly, it's such an awesome game. Being able to play as Mario in this open world really took me back to those Super Mario 64 days, and I feel like this was a game that I really enjoyed, and a lot of people did as well. But to see this at this spot is really kind of disappointing to me. Like, I figured this would be probably in the top 3, but for some reason it landed here at number 6. Number 5 is Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I noticed that they did clump these two together because it pretty much is the same game with a little bit of differences, so bear with me there. But it released November 15th of 2019, and it has sold 22.64 million copies, which is no surprise. Everyone loves Pokemon, so to see this game so high up on this list, I understand why. Now, I will say I never actually played the game, but I do own it. I probably need to play it at least once. I mean, I have it in my collection, but from what I understand, this is a really fun Pokemon game, and seeing this as the first actual new Pokemon game on the Switch, if you don't count Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, I really am not surprised that this is where it's at. I think number 4 is the biggest shock to me, and I'm quite frankly surprised this isn't number 1 or at least number 2, and that is Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, this released March 3rd of 2017, the day that the Switch released, so I figured this would be higher up on this list. However, it is not. It is at number 4 with 24.13 million copies sold. And that really surprises me, because if you go back to the first really 2 years of the Switch, Zelda was the best game and probably still is the best game. So I'm very shocked to see this at number 4. Zelda is one of those games that if you have a Switch, you probably have Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I'm really kind of scratching my head at this one. I assumed that this would be at least 1 or 2, like I said. But for whatever reason, the top 3 are better and have sold more than Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 3 actually comes at no surprise to me, and that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is a game that came out in December 7th of 2018 and has sold 25.71 million copies. Now, when I say it's no surprise, when this game came out, everyone ran and got it. But at the same time, Smash always has this crazy following, and having Ultimate be what it is absolutely not a shock to me. Nintendo is even still releasing DLC characters and has been for years on Switch Ultimate, so that comes as no surprise to me when I saw this on the list. I knew it had to be at the top, and here it is at number 3. If Zelda, Smash, and Super Mario Odyssey is not in the top 2, what is? Well, number 2 is actually Animal Crossing No Horizons. And this game hasn't been out that long, which is pretty impressive. This came out in March 20 of 2020 and has sold 34.85 million copies. Yes, almost 35 million copies in a little bit over a year and a half, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. However, when I think about Animal Crossing and how it came out in the pandemic and everything surrounding it, people were literally playing this game non-stop, and so it doesn't surprise me of how big this game is and how many units it has sold. It's an awesome game. I've never played it myself, but I've seen a ton of people play it, and I really understand the appeal for it, so it deserves to be in this top 2 spot. And number 1 on the Switch is actually a Wii U port. This blows my mind. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which released April 28th of 2017, has sold 38.74 million copies on the Switch alone, not counting the Wii U games. That to me is actually shocking, but it goes back and tells you and proves that the Wii U version was an awesome game. If it was ported to the Switch and has sold that many copies, it's just mind-blowing to me. This is an awesome game. I love it, and I'm quite frankly shocked that it sold as much as it did. So there you go. That is the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games. Or I guess if you count Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as a Wii U game, you can say that as well. But I was kind of surprised by some of the placement of some of these games. Some of these games sold way more than I thought, and others didn't sell as much as I figured they would be. So if you want to let me know in the comments down below, show me or tell me what you think about these listings. Are you shocked by these games? What games do you think should have been higher or should have been lower? But for the most part, that's all I've got for you guys. Peace!